Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Savage Crucible convention exclusive, quote-unquote, Veteris Repax. I actually picked this guy up from Big and Bad Toy Store, but he is from the fine folks over at Harbinger Studios and was essentially my birthday present to me, myself, and I. It was my birthday, after all, a couple of weeks ago now, and I really wanted this figure. I got this figure. I am very happy with this figure. However, there are a couple little pain-in-the-butt things I would like to talk about because I have a YouTube channel, and what is the point of having a YouTube channel if you don't complain about stupid crap? So, that said, I don't want anyone to get this guy confused with Lord Veteris from Mythic Legions because there's a bit of bickering amidst Mythic Legions and Savage Crucible collectors, speaking of stupid crap. So, as I used to say in a lot of videos on this channel a couple years back, keep the comments civil because the world sucks enough as it is, especially with all those stupid tariffs I don't want to talk about. So, with that being said, before we talk about anything more negative, why don't we cut right to the chase and get to the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Veteris Repax has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of claw hands. Very cool. All these figures come with these. Got this alternate head, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the same head from the Imperial Sentry. Kind of sucks he doesn't have like the more gnarly teeth, though. I figured he would have had a maybe a Ninvillimer head, given the nature of his jaw there. But maybe, just maybe, the scales match on this guy and Ninvillimer, so you could just use Ninvillimer's head on this guy. But I'm not going to do that. That said, as far as actual weapons, this guy comes with an axe, which is pretty sweet. I'm definitely displaying him with that. We got this cutlass style sword, which does have one of the little scabbards on it, because I actually wanted to have this little whip here on his belt instead of this very swashbuckler style sword. It doesn't make sense for this savage looking, no pun intended, savage looking lizard guy to have a pirate sword that's like all decked out and stuff. So I'll probably give this to, I don't know, if they make a pirate guy later on, I guess I'll give it to that dude. But for now, it's just going to go into storage. He does have a short sword. Very, very cool. Do like that. And he does have this crazy looking sword with, I swear, a little titty twister on the end of it. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't look like the sword has like a snake head on it. It kind of looks like a snake head. Is that a snake head? That might be a snake head. I don't know. But the blade shape is close to this. But I do kind of like this sword more. I don't know. Should I give him this sword or this sword? He's going to have one of them on his hip. Probably should be the short one, but either way. Either way. They also are giving you little blind bag weapons now, which is pretty cool. And they're a little Ziploc baggies, so you can put them back in and seal them up if you want. There's like a ton of these to collect, so I don't know what the rarity or anything on this is, but it's like this freaking awesome version of Ninvillimer's sword. It has a little cobra on it, and the blade looks like it fades from like this yellow to red, and it looks like it's on fire. For all you old school Van Halen fans, Van Halen 1 to be exact. But this is like some demonic looking sword, man, because of that fade. So I'm guessing this has to be one of the rarer ones, but I don't know. I just think it's freaking cool, and I gotta use it with somebody in this line, because that's too cool to put in a box. Like, I gotta use that with somebody. And then he does also come with the tabletop game cards, but I don't care about these, so those are staying in the foil. And probably going to my buddy Patrick Boyle from, of all places, the Mythic Legion's Cabal. But either way, I tend to send those to him. But taking a closer look at Veteris Repax here, on top of the fact that he comes with a butt ton of accessories, he's actually got quite a bit of paint going on. He's got almost like this bloody look, like Vorgus Vermilius, the OG one, or the All-Stars one from Mythic Legion's had. He's got a very similar paint scheme on the armor there. And as you can see, he kind of shares parts with some of the other Savage Crucible figures I reviewed on the channel, but that's okay. Some reuse is fine. Looks like he has the Imperial Sentry skirt and shoulder pads, and Nin Villamir's collar piece, or chest armor. And then the shin guards and the wrist guards, I believe, are also from the Sentry. Yes, they are. I have them sitting off camera for size comparisons later. But one thing I will mention, his feet do not have the toe hinges. They actually did release this guy with the toe hinges, as far as I know, but these are the corrected feet. That said, I was never going to use those anyway, so it's no skin off my nose. But some people, they do have this guy with actually, do they? I don't know if they actually have this guy without those toe hinges, or with those toe hinges. I thought maybe they did, but I think I was getting confused with Nin Vilmir, because I got him with both. But either way, as far as his articulation goes, it's Savage Crucible, it's excellent. He's got a double ball peg in the head so he can look all around. His jaw will open, and you can see he's got a little gnarlier looking jawline. Let me actually do a little snoop in here. Actually, I don't think this is the same. It's not the same. I do believe that Nin Vilmir has a squarer chin than this guy, so that is something. That said, the shoulders will pop out to the side a decent amount. Now this shoulder I had to heat the crap out of to get it to work, but it works fine now. You do get some rotation out of that. You get the beautiful butterfly, which did pop out when I was trying to get that shoulder to work, but the hinge is fine, it's not broken. Pauldrons are on little ball pegs. And one thing I didn't notice about these pauldrons before that is excellent, they have ABS plastic for the pegs going into the shoulder, so you don't got to risk tearing the peg off when you pop them out. I've actually cracked one, I think, Mythic Legion's pauldron trying to take it out, and it wasn't even tight, it just cracked for some reason. So I do appreciate that from a design standpoint. It costs more to do it that way, but that's the right way to do it. That way stuff doesn't break. He does have a bicep swivel, but it's more of a cap. He's got a double elbow that you do get your rotation out of, and then what you would want to do is swivel the bicep with it. That said, you do also get gauntlet twist, so that's cool. And then you get swivel hinge wrists with the up and down hinge for holding weapons, which is all you need. You don't need the other kind, that's just redundant, stupid. That said, torso joint, best torso joint in the business right now. It can crunch all the way forward. Like, that's ridiculous. It can crunch all the way back. It can twist all around. And he's got some crazy pivot. Just astonishing what you can do with ball pegs, Hasbro. Same thing in the waist. It's a single ball, but you get a ton of range out of it. I've broken down this articulation before. It's nothing new with this guy. He reuses the same parts as the other two guys I reviewed, but it's still awesome to get that kind of range. His tail is segmented and I think reused from the Imperial Sentry, but you can curl it up quite a ways. before it starts to get too tight or lose range. Hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. He does have a thigh cut in there, which was tight at first, but actually works fine now. Double jointed knee. I didn't have to heat this guy's knees. I didn't have to heat the Imperial Sentry's knees, but Nin Villimir, I did have to heat his knees. So be mindful of that. But they are getting better with that. And then he does have a swivel in the foot with a hinge. And a rocker. And I do believe he's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet too. But that said, this whip was a pain in the butt to get in here. I had to heat this guy up, pop him apart at the waist, take this belt off, and heat it probably 6 or 7 times to get that in there. I was a little worried about tearing it, but you know, since Harbinger Studio doesn't make cheap garbage, I didn't have that problem, so that's a plus. But word to the wise, if you're going to put anything on these belts, the best way to do that is to just pop the figure apart at the waist and put them back together afterwards. It's gonna take longer to do it. It's a little bit overly complicated, but it'll be way easier to pop stuff on the belts. If you want to do that, that is. So, with that being said, that is really my only complaint with this figure, was trying to get this on and trying to get this shoulder to move, because I had to do a lot of heating for that. But I guess that makes up for me not having to heat up my Imperial Sentry at all and just play with him out the box. But at any rate, I still like this figure a crap ton. He is flippin' awesome. Definitely a figure of the year so far. At least until some of them barbarians come out, especially if that horned fella, not the Frazetta guy, but the other horned fella there. He's like fully armored. I get that sucker in hand, that might be the guy who gets this crazy heated scimitar sword, if he doesn't already come with one. So, with that being said, it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Veteris Repax, alongside the only other figures from Savage Crucible I have at this current time anyways. I would love to get more, but they're not readily available unless Harbinger Studios throws up an in-stock sale, which I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one of those for a while, because they are trying to get the barbarians in, tariffs God willing. So, with that being said, we do have the Imperial Sentry as well as Nin Villimir, both of which I feel, I don't know, are responsible for the conception of Veteris Repax here, because it looks like he borrows parts from both of them between the spiky armor and the shoulder pads and whatnot. He does kind of look like their bastard son, if I do say so myself. So, getting these two out of here. By the way, a bit of a follow-up from my Nin Villimir video. If I shift his arm out the way here. I did manage to get that little bottle on there, but as I mentioned with the whip on Veteris Repax here, this is a pain right in the butt. It was not a fun experience. So if they're going to tweak anything on these figures, again, that would definitely be it. But bringing in our two regulars, we got the Mythic Legions Brother Mandibular right there. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who probably about neck and neck. No, if we count his fancy hat or battle mask. Veteris Repax is a little taller than the infamous 11 Spawn, so good old Al Simmons definitely ain't towering over everyone today, folks. So, with that being said, time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. overall, and look, I don't need to tell you guys to rush out and buy this thing. I already said it was currently one of my top figures of this calendar year, 2025, for those of you watching this in the future. However, I'm going to say that if you do pick them up, you might want to bust the hairdryer out for a couple of things. But other than that, Harbinger Studios, Savage Crucible, whatever you want to call it, they are firing on all cylinders and absolutely crushing it, as my favorite comedian currently, Bill Burr, has said many times on his Monday morning podcast. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.